And to take the story further, we are being joined by Katie Frost from Milwaukee. She is a Republican strategist. Ms. Frost, thank you so much for joining us here on WION. Good to see you. I want to talk to you about JD Vance, and I'll come to that in a minute. Let's talk about the man of the hour, Donald Trump. He is the official nominee of the Republican Party. What are you expecting from his speech?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be with you. I will tell you, it was absolutely electric inside the convention center last night. As Lee Greenwood was singing God Bless the USA, that is, one of our most common patriotic songs. It inspires Americans. And then to see President Trump enter with a bandaged ear, just such a sober reminder of what happened barely 48 hours before that. It was an unbelievable experience, and I think we're going to see a slightly different tone than you may typically expect from, say, a Trump rally. I had the honor of being in the center 8 years ago when President Trump accepted the nomination in 2016. So I think we'll see a slightly different tone. There's nothing like a near-death experience to give you a different perspective. And I think we're going to see him come in. He's going to be speaking about unity, and he's going to be looking forward, very much so. This is not going to be about relitigating what has happened before, but about assessing where we are as a country, what has happened under Joe Biden, and how it can change in the next 4 years in President Trump's next term.
Right. Ms. Frost, let's talk about JD Vance now. He's 39 years old. And to counter that, Donald Trump is 78 years old. Given that during this election, we have been talking a lot about the age issue, not just with Trump, but also Joe Biden. Do you think that this was a perfect balancing act to say?
Well, I do. As a millennial myself, it's incredible to see one of my peers being the vice presidential nominee. And you said right, JD Vance is 39 years old. He'll be turning 40 next month. And when he takes the oath of office in January, he will be the third youngest vice president in the history of the United States. And it's interesting to point out, you talk about age or how long someone has been in politics. When JD Vance was born, Joe Biden had already been in the United States Senate. He'd been elected 12 years before that. So you want to talk about age, realize that Joe Biden has been in elected office JD Vance's entire life. So it's definitely time to bring in a new generation of leadership. And I think we see that with JD Vance. He'll have a different perspective than some of his other peers in Washington. In the Democratic side, you have a group of leadership that is not going to let go to the next generation. You have people like James Clyburn, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, and of course, right there at the top, Joe Biden. These people have been there for so long, and it's time for younger people to come in, and people who have a different perspective and are living in the world we inhabit now. The defining conflict of our generation, right. It's not Vietnam or the Cold War, it's the war in Iraq for Americans. We don't remember the boom of the Reagan years. We remember the economic downturn of 2008. So that's shaped our policy and our worldview, and I'm excited to see what it will be to have someone like JD Vance, someone, like I said, from my generation in the high position of leadership and being the vice president.
All right, Ms. Frost, thank you so much for getting us your insights all the way from Milwaukee.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.